I'm live. I just got back to the office. Woo-wee. It's a lot to say. It's a lot to think about. I didn't have any time to process, write notes. I just got here, drinking my Diet Coke. I put lip gloss on because my lips are chapped. So I'm Patty Wilson, and this is Patty's Playhouse, and I just left the Donna Adelson motion hearing where they were asking, they, as in the defense team, was asking for Donna to have bond. And then they held, it was kind of like a bond Arthur hearing. Hold on, my little Facebook thing is not really streaming anyway. So I got a little pop-up from, I use StreamYard, so I got a little pop-up. So anyway, I was at the courthouse today at Leon County from 9 to about 12:36. I got there at 8. It was in courtroom 3B with Judge Everett. And Judge Everett was the judge for Charlie Adelson. So today's motion hearing was about suppression of an audio phone call, which is usually the way it is, but it was audio. And then it was a bond and an Arthur hearing. And an Arthur hearing is a bond hearing. I think it pertains just to like the first degree murders. Because in Florida, statute says first degree murder charges, you are not, there's no bond unless this Arthur hearing. So on the defense side was Jackie Fulford, Joshua Zellman, who I met in the lobby area today, and Donna was in there. So I got there about 8 because I knew it was going to be in courtroom 3B because they were having a trial in the larger courtroom, which is where the trials are usually held, which is 3G. And fine and good. I got there early, and one of the subscribers who lives here is a friend, was going to meet me there. So, but I got, I have to be early. I just have, I need to like know who everyone is, what's everyone doing, why are they here? I just need to know. So when I got there, there was an older man sitting on the other side of the lobby, and it's part of the circle area. It's like a roundabout. So you can go to one courtroom, you go to another courtroom, or there's elevators, which is what the employees tend to use in these elevators. This guy sitting over there, and I was like, God, I think that's Harvey. I just said, God, I think that's Harvey to myself. And then they changed the hearing time to 9:15. Jackie Fulford was already sitting on a bench, but away from people. Jeff Burlew, who's with the Tallahassee Democrat, was there. Elena, who's also with the Democrat, was there. I was there. There was a gentleman I had not seen before sitting along the wall that would attach to the courtroom. Harvey was over on the other side. And I'm just looking at him like, looks like him, but nah, probably not. I was wrong. It was Harvey. Because there was a brunette that I'd never seen. Like she didn't look like a Miami attorney. Let's put it that way. And that's stereotyping. I don't care. So media was allowed to go in if you had like a setup, like a camera setup or like a re-recorder, that kind of thing. Because the room is like literally a closet. So they were allowed to set up. Bailiff comes out and says, no one's coming in until 9:15. I was like, fine. So we're shooting the shit, but I'm positioning myself to look at this guy. I was like, is that him? I didn't say anything to anybody. So then it's time to get in the courtroom, and there were a bunch of deputies there because the jail was under fire. So when the jail's under fire, they bring the deputies in. The chief of the jail, this large African-American man, very handsome, by the way, was standing there. I knew him from the last hearing where Donna didn't like how she was treated. So that's how I knew who he was. And we go in, I'm crossing several deputies legs to get to the corner. So there were only 18 people, gallery people in this courtroom. That's it. 18. You didn't get a seat, you didn't get in. This was not the Karen Reed hearing, okay? I don't care who you are. That hearings, they're all debacles compared to this. 9:15, they started. 9:05, the attorneys think they're late. Nope, 9:15, everybody starts. Donna was already seated. That man goes in. He's right behind her chair, interior. So he's sitting against the wall. I walk in. I'm in the second row in the back, in the corner. And I'm like, this is perfect. My show subscriber and friends right here. I invited her on. I'm hoping she comes on. She'll come on StreamYard. She's sitting right next to me. I made media move so she could, I asked, could you scoot so she could sit next? Sure, no problem. Fine. So I'm at the corner, right? So I can see the witness box and I can see the defense table. That's what I wanted. I was like, this. The whole time, I barely looked at the witness box. I wanted to watch Donna. So I'm sitting there. It's well before the trial starts. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I see his profile dead on. I said, that is Harvey Adelson. I nudge her. I'm like, that's Harvey. I tell the girl, the media girl that I asked to excuse, blah, blah. I said, that's Harvey Adelson. I bumped the guy ahead of me. He's with WCTV. I'm like, that's Harvey Adelson. He's like, so then they're like they didn't believe me. Jeff Burlew at some point sneaks out to verify that I was right. That was right. So anyway, now I'm zoned in, like there is nothing. Donna, so what I'm doing now is going to tell you what I saw in the courtroom. I'm sure you watched it, but from the gallery perspective, off in the corner, this is what I saw. Soon as we sit down, I notice Donna's there. He's there, but that brunette is in between him and me. So like I couldn't really see him, but I knew that profile. That was Harvey Adelson. And I was like, oh my God, he freaking showed up. Like, Patty can't make a face. Patty can't smile. Patty can't show your teeth. Like, this is my self-talk. Subscriber guest sitting next to me, I told her, I said, once this trial starts, you can't even grimace. Like, don't do anything. Like, you got to keep it together. Donna's over there hyperventilating. She's attempting to cry, but it doesn't look like she's really crying. Just from, I saw no wetness, but she was definitely deep breathing, like looking over at him, like longingly. And I was like, that is Harvey. So I'm like, God, everyone take a picture. I was like, Patty, you're losing your edge, but I'm not a reporter. So I'm like, just take the picture. People realize he's there. You're my new friends. So anyway, she's like, and I don't know if she's like breathing like that because she's like got some RSV virus or something, or she's breathing like that because he's across the room and she can't hold his hand. I don't know. But whatever it is, she was having, and I said to my friend, oh, here she is. She is having a hard time keeping her shit together. Hold on, here she is. This is Lady in the Elevator. So I don't know if you could hear me, Lady in the Elevator. Yes. I'm going over when I saw Harvey and I nudged you. Yeah. And I was like, that's Harvey Adelson. So
he's a tiny little man. I thought he was big, but he's a tiny little wizened old man, and he's growing a beard and he looks gray and black.
Well, you're coming in and out, so I don't know if you can hold your phone still or talk more in your phone without showing your face.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, Donna saw who I was. I'm looking at the comments, but I'll go to the comments in a little bit. So anyway, because I'm so excited, I can't help myself. So I'm like nudging Lady in the Elevator. That's Harvey Adelson. And I'm trying to get the media attention. Like I told the girl, the new girl with WTXL, that's Harvey Adelson. And she's like, that's Harvey. Yes. And then Lady in the Elevator says, He's not, I thought he was taller. No, just in pictures. So I knew he was short because I saw him in that thing that Fancy Friction posted when they were in the Whole Foods, and he had his like Reeboks on, dad shoes, and he was like at Wendy's height. So I knew he wasn't tall anymore. And so I'm like, oh, so he's like breathing deep, and he keeps holding his head back like this and holding deep and holding deep. And I was like, he is going to have a hard time keeping their shit together. Like, this is going to be a hard hearing for them. And, you know, I'm a Pisces. I'm not going to apologize for it. I have some empathy in my heart. And I just thought, this sucks. Like, you shouldn't have killed your son-in-law, but that's just me. And I was like, you know, he's not allowed to talk to her. He's not allowed to hold her. He's not allowed to do anything. And how hard is it that your wife has gotten herself to that point where she's shackled, like waist, hands, feet, the entire hearing, that's up to the judge. That's not a jail thing. That's up to the judge. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so good. And so I'm sitting there in the corner. And then they start, and I'm just watching them. And, you know, Jackie Fulford, we'll get to what Jackie Fulford says. And it was an impassioned hearing at the least. Donna got up and, which you all saw probably, talked about her defense where she only wanted to go. Stop it, Patty. A non-extradition country because she wanted peace and quiet and wanted to come back on her own instead of being held in a jail in the Bahamas. Like we know who. And I'm thinking, that's not how it really works, because you probably do watch too much TV, but the United States will give Vietnamese like 12 cartons of cigarettes, and then they're going to arrest you, and then you're going to be in a Vietnamese jail, both of you. But that's just my rambling thoughts. So anyway, we'll get to the hearing in a minute. So what did you think, lady in the elevator? And let me introduce you real quick. Lady in the elevator is who Dan Rashbaum was talking to in the elevator, talking about quitting Donna's defense team before Donna even knew it.
That's right. I wasn't
up,
and he was talking in just a normal tone of voice.
Yeah. It was the elevator. It's a public building.
Yeah. And none of his, there was the whole defense team there, and none of them even said, "Stand, don't talk."
And they're probably all stunned about it. So let me show you real quick. I'm going to show you the picture I took on the break when we were allowed to take our phones out. Judge had gone out of the courtroom for a few minutes. Harvey stands up. So then this picture is taken. How do I do this? Right here. So there's Harvey standing in the courtroom, longingly looking at his bride.
And he's thinking, why did I agree to do this? I mean, and the bailiff came over then and chastised him for talking to Donna.
Oh, yeah, that was later. Yeah.
It was I thought it was during that break.
No, I don't think so. There was a second break, and that's when I thought he did it. This was in the very beginning.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just remember seeing that. Yeah. He is older than Donna, but he looked really old. She looked ancient.
He looks very thin, doesn't he?
Yes. And she was very heavy. They kept saying, she's put on 30% more body weight. Well, it's all through her gut.
And her backside.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, and shuffling through the courtroom. I mean, she looked like she might just fall out and just die right there.
Well, she is shackled.
I know. But
isn't that picture something else?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you said that's Harvey, and I
said reserved for. Do you see what this says? Reserved for something ration is where her bag is. So they had reserved it for those two.
Well, funny story. The lady that you
Well, his suit is far too big on him. Like, that's what I noticed. Like, he has lost a lot of weight.
well the woman that you said didn't look like a Miami.
No.
I rode up in the elevator with her too. I was hoping I could ride down with Harvey at the end, but he wouldn't get on the elevator with us.
No, he didn't. They were, with their attorneys. I wasn't going to do that. I don't like getting in the middle of that stuff. I'm out. But he knew who I was.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he looked me dead in the eye. I mean, they did. She knew who I was. She caught me when I walked in. She caught me the last time. So she knew I was a YouTuber. That's how she describes it, which is fine with me. But yeah. He's a skinny man now. That suit is far too big. Look at that collar on him.
Yeah,
I thought she's going to die in prison or he's going to die on the outside, and that's that.
I agree.
Anyway, so then the hearing starts, and all I could hear, because I kept staring at those two, was like Charlie Brown's teachers. Wah, 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 wah. Sarah Dugan is absolutely fabulous. The first part of the hearing was, of course, the phone call, the suppression. And that is fascinating to me because Joshua Zellman, who is Donna's new lead attorney, which I think they might want to rethink that. I think Jackie Fulford was much more adept at this than he was. But he goes on and remember those two phone calls. One's on November 7th. He said July. I corrected him under my breath. It's okay. 11/7 and 11/8 because we had the blessing of sharing it with you all on Sunday. And he stops that conversation, right? So on the 8th, she's recorded and she goes, well, I don't think they're recording me. And if they are, and then he stopped it. Because if they are, she says, like, I don't give a shit, basically, to paraphrase. And so he stops it right there. And I go, they brought up Jason Newland, who's the lead investigator, and from the Tallahassee Police Department, I think is what he's with.
No, I think he's from the jail because he had all the stuff about the recorded phone calls.
Yeah, he's an investigator, so he does that. Like those are the phone calls he pulls, and then he brings them down and then analyzes them. So he'll get all the day's calls, and they have a bunch of interns at the state attorney office that listen in. So they pull off all the calls, and then they just have a slew of interns that listen. I would love that gig. That would be fabulous for me. So he talks about that. And again, Josh Zellman like purposefully ends it right there as if she doesn't continue. Jason Newland is aware that he stopped it right there. So he followed that. He didn't go any further than that because there would have been an objection. But, they're saying, well, if the defendant call drops or ends, that it should automatically end the other person. And Josh Zellman was asking a bunch of technical questions about Securus, who actually records the calls. And I'm like, you should have brought a Securus person in, is what you should have done. Because Jason Newland wasn't listening at the time. He's just bringing it down. In the end, Sarah Dugan brings up the fact that on the second call, Harvey looks at the phone and goes, the call didn't end. So Sarah's argument with Josh Zellman was if she would have just looked at the phone, she probably just set it down on the table upside down. But if she'd have looked at it, she would have seen the call had not ended. So it's not a state action, as what she says. It's an inadvertent recording, and therefore it should be admitted. The judge had to take that, he's going to review all the cases. There was like 8 that she presented. One was this, and then one from the defense brought up Adam. Did I bring it up? I think I have it. Adam Frash, who happened to be a Tallahassee case. He was the podiatrist that had killed his wife and was charged with it, but he was allowed out on bond. And that was who Jackie Fulford, the female attorney, brought up, was Adam Frash. And it was like he was facing murder charges and the death of his wife, could be released from jail, and he was. At $250,000, ordered to wear a GPS monitor, abstain from alcohol and drugs, turn over passport, blah, blah, blah. I thought Jackie did a fabulous job. I'm not going to lie about it. Like, I thought this is their best chance for her to get on bond is Jackie Fulford presenting that, because she did a fabulous job at the end. She was like, the woman's presumed innocent. She wasn't Charlie. She didn't have the gun in her hand. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, I thought she did a fabulous job. I don't know that the judge is buying it. I don't think he will, because it is still a first-degree murder charge. He's aware what other judges do, and so on. This was a 2015 trial, but I thought she did a good job.
I thought she did a really good job as well. Made it sound like Donna was so sick and the jail was so horrible. I don't think that it might have moved Judge Everett, but I mean, I knew all the stuff that was in there ahead of time. I thought, oh, they don't have a chance at any of that. But she did a good job, I thought.
She was very impassioned, as someone said, as I was leaving the courtroom. And she itemized it without the longest thing that she did, which she shouldn't have done, in my humble opinion, is how the jail treats inmates. And I only say this because she was a judge. And from that perspective, she should know better than to go on and on and on that the jail treatment is substandard to any other jail treatment. And it's not. It just isn't. The first person they brought on, now I recall, is Michael Hayden. And he is the healthcare administrator for the jail. And I think it's under guest care. So you don't work, at least when I was there, you don't work for Leon County. They farm it out. They have a vendor, a third party. And so when I worked there for those couple of years, it was always a third party. Years ago, and my term there was 22 years ago, I think, that before that, they had their own nurses and doctors on staff, but not once agency nurses, and they could rid themselves of some liability. So exactly how Michael Hayden said it is what I recall. You get 2 nursing passes, one in the morning, one early, like 11:30 to 2:30, and then, because most nurses work 12-hour shifts, and then one in the like mid-morning, except for the fact that if you're going to a hearing or a trial, then you get your meds before you go. So like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But it was just like that. There's these little forms. I had forgotten about the little forms for nurses to carry around, but also the correction officers carry them around. And people do run out, but you can't just, like, a nurse cannot just walk the halls of the jail and do what she wants. You can't. You have to be with a deputy or a correction officer at all times. And that was mentioned. Donna herself said it when because I have my naysayers saying Patty wasn't legally allowed to pass pills. Well, I was a nurse, and yes, I was legally allowed to pass pills. And you do have a sheriff's deputy with you, and you can't leave your stand because you have a rolling cart, and you can't leave that cart there and go back to where the medical area is to get a piece of paper. Now, should they have them on there? Probably. Should they have made copies? Likely. But they didn't, and they didn't. I thought the sanitary napkin idea was a lot better than one Band-Aid. What did you think, lady?
I thought that was really good, and it did bleed out the way they were describing it. But they also made it sound like she went without any kind of nursing treatment for like weeks, and it was like 2 days.
Well, I mean, she really was bleeding, but that's going to happen. We all know as you age, you have skin tears, is what we call them as a nurse, and you're just going to have it. And she's going to have more blood, and your blood's thinner. and it's thinner and your skin is thinner and you bump up against something, you're going to have big bruises. It's the way it works. But it doesn't mean you're let out on bond.
Yeah, she won't try to fly to Vietnam this time.
No, she won't. But you're not going to be let out on bond because you have a skin tear. You're not going to be let out on bond because you have sciatica. You're not going to be let out on bond because you're used to getting a spinal injection. And then Sarah Dugan towards the end brought up Solumedrol. I got to look that up because injection. So she's offered a Solumedrol injection and she declines it, which when you do that, whether it's as a patient or as an inmate, it never looks good when you're going to sue somebody or you're going to challenge their medical skills. Because if you keep declining and declining and declining something, well, I just know what works. Well,
she acted like she was a doctor and she knew everything.
She says Solumedrol is used for treatment of various medical. It's an anti-inflammatory, which probably would have worked. It's used for lupus, psoriasis, ulcerative colitis, skin, blood, eyes, lungs, stomach, and nervous system. And then it was going to be a Medrol pack, which would have allowed her to take something ongoing. And she declined it like she knew better. That's where she's going to have a problem. And that is, it is a steroid, the Medrol pack. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like if you don't know. I just brought it up on the fly because, you know. The Medrol pack looks like this. So you start here, day one, and then you have to decrease it every day. You can't start here and then just stop it because you can go into adrenal failure. So I'm not a doctor, but I am a nurse, and that's what happens. And there you go. So she was offered it and declined it. Now she's saying, I don't even know what that was. They offered me something, which is fair. They offered me something. I just know it doesn't work because I want an injection in my spine. Now, the injection in her spine is probably cheaper in the long run, works better, but you don't get to name your names and you're incarcerated. You just don't. So, but I loved watching. Did you watch the jail correction officers sitting next to you? Did you watch their faces at all?
I did not.
So I'm turned in a corner, right? So I could see. And when she's going on and on and on about her treatment, they were stone faced. So well trained. Didn't even have a towel. The chief of all the, chief of the jail, not even a flat. She's like, but I didn't get flat. They didn't wince. They didn't blink hard. They just sat there. And I was like, this is nice. This is nice not to have a lot of drama. I really did appreciate it. So just an observation from all the other trials we watch where people don't know how to keep their shizzle together. They did. It was very nice. They're very professional.
Yeah, well, that made it sound like I was in intense pain. And she started describing that. I said, she's got carpal tunnel syndrome. They're not sending her out to get that operated on.
No.
And that's all that'll fix that. I know I just had it done last summer. She's
not getting a surgery for carpal tunnel. She's not, it gets worse. Once you're really elderly, in jail, you have the prison system, you're not getting anything. You know what I love though, is she sat there, she can't claim she can't remember, she doesn't recall because of her age, because she sat and gave dates and times. That's perfect. She knew exactly when she went to jail, how long she was in the jail before, 457 days, how long she was in protective custody was 50 days, when she got out, when she went to Gen Pop, which was what she said, the N, I'm doing this all off the top of my head because I couldn't take notes, N pod, which is N and Nancy. Then she went to the annex and she knew the number of days for the annex. Then she had to go into protective custody on the 3rd of February, which is attached to the M pod, which is for Mary, and she knew all those dates. She can't claim at some point, I'm elderly, I can't remember.
Just like Charlie, she has everything memorized.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I was sitting there going, girlfriend, I don't even know what I had for lunch yesterday. And she's counting 457 days. It's crazy. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazingly run because after watching yesterday's debacle with Karen Reed hearing about, you just have attorneys running out the clock. Judge Everett's like, can we get to the big points here because we're running out of time? You have a half hour. Does that include arguments, Judge? No. And she went, you could hear the pace that the attorneys were talking picked up so that they could get done on time and weren't going to be shut down. Amazing.
One of the things that I thought of after I left was that if she was blackmailed by that woman,
yeah,
and if she was ordering all that stuff for her, I thought that Jackie should have brought a copy of what she ordered all the time that she was in jail as an exhibit to demonstrate that something different happened from October on.
I think she had it with her, but she didn't present it as evidence because I think she had that. Like she was looking over it with the $40 that she was spending. And then I think it increased, and the total amount that Harvey spent was $1,150. I think she had it in front of her, but I didn't recall that she presented it as evidence.
I don't think she did, and I think that was a failure because that would bolster Donna's accusation.
Yeah, and it's there, so I'm sure it's easily obtained if that comes up again in trial or something. But the whole thing, oh my God. Boom, 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 in and out on time. Patty didn't get a parking ticket. I was so excited. I mean, you just know what you're facing when you walk into that courtroom. You know how to behave. You just know. It's so sad when you see so many other judges and courtrooms. And so the other thing I thought was interesting was I thought Michael Hayden, the first defendant, the first witness, actually it was Jason Newland, and then it was Michael Hayden from the jail. He was very well prepped. He knew his stuff because Jackie Fulford, the defense attorney, wanted to object to the medical files. And I think the prosecution's going to win on that because of this subpoena. But Jason Newland was like, I don't even think we got the files yet from YesCare. So it's not like Jason Newland had the file and then could share with the defense. Jackie Fulford's position was that she didn't have the file. How did this medical information come out? Blah, blah, blah. But Sarah Dugan masterfully said, we're just going over what he already knew because he reviewed the files. And then the judge was like, yep, continue. And that worked out to there in the end too, when Jackie tried to object to it again. And Sarah Dugan's like, but Your Honor, she opened the door with the medical files when she's asking her about her wound care, about her sleep deprivation, about all that. And judge said, yes, you can go forward on that. So I thought that was masterful from Sarah Dugan. But the Hayden gentleman knew that file. He was absolutely prepared for today's testimony. He spoke professionally. He had the processes down. He talked about evidentiary medical practice, which is just medical care. And he said it. Everyone is treated with that practice. It's not like when you go into the doctor's office and you believe you have strep and you present with one symptom, but then the doctor's like, wait a second, this may not be strep because of blank. Before they even take a sample, this could be RSV or it could be something else. And so I thought the gentleman, as a nurse, I thought he did really, really, really well. I was very proud of it. He wasn't letting them talk over him. He was just, here's the facts. This is what we offer. We're basic. I wish people would say basic life-saving. We don't have anything else there. They don't have, what do they call it? What is it called? Like the paddles. They don't have the paddles there. They don't have any of that. You have to go out. So I thought that was really important. What did you think of him?
I thought he was very good. I mean, it was clear that they were not just going to take the inmate's word for my arm hurts. And they're going to say, well, let's see if there's some reason why your arm is hurting. And says, you don't have any broken bones. You don't have anything wrong with your lungs, but she knows there's something wrong with it. So I don't know, maybe it's some hysteria thing because of her stress. But they took the x-rays of her lungs to see if she had pneumonia or something of that nature. And they say they're clear. So therefore, that says to me that she doesn't have any kind of medical reason that something's wrong with her lungs.
Correct.
For the heavy breathing stuff.
Did you catch at the end, Jackie Fulford said, one more question, Judge. Okay. Did they take you for an MRI? That's when I was like, I'm seeing this comment from Michelle French. I'd give anything to have been with Patty. I'm sure we would have been kicked out. Has she maintained her composure? I'll miss the start of this as I'm at the eye doctor. But when Jackie Fulford jumped back up and asked that MRI question, I had to bury my head. They're not taking you out for an MRI for an arm range of motion issue. They're not. But I didn't laugh. I was good. Did you catch that one?
Yeah, I did hear that one. And it took more control than I actually ever have not to turn to Patty every time they said something, say, did you hear that? But I didn't do it. I was very good.
No, you were so good. And I was like, I really don't want her to get kicked out. I don't want her to get kicked out.
When I heard somebody's phone go off and it said 1242, which it wasn't 1242, I thought, oh, please, dear God, don't let that be my phone. Because I mean, when I turned it back on at one of the breaks, I just put it on silent and didn't turn it back off again.
Yeah, it wasn't my phones and my watch were off, so I don't know whose that was, but he didn't say anything. It is a hearing and not a trial. With the trial, it's very different. It's very, very different.
Yeah,
but next hearing in March, I'm definitely bringing my laptop because we're allowed to have the laptop, but we're not allowed to have the phone on. So I'm gonna get something from Real Talk, some sort of fake badge thing from the radio station, so I can have my laptop out because I could have used it today for sure. But I remembered 18 people in the gallery, 3 in that row with Harvey. Did you see that Asian woman come in the leather pants?
Yes.
Sit to Harvey. I wonder if that was that Janice. She came in, sat with him, like kind of like rubbed his arm a little bit, and then got up and left, came back out. So I don't know who she was. I've never seen her before. Very striking woman. And I was like, is that Janice here? Somebody would have to pull a picture up of her for me so I could see if that was the woman. Then did you recognize the 2 people that were kind of catty-corner to you? Older white woman, not like say, or either late 60s, early 70s, and the gentleman next to her?
I saw them when they were going out because the guy looks like an old boyfriend of mine when he got old. And I remember thinking, I know they were there because of who it was, but I didn't know who the blonde lady sitting next to me that's from WTXL, which is
Yes.
what's it, ABC here?
Yeah.
She never turned off her phone at all. That's why I said, well, hell, if she
They're not allowed. Well, they're media. It's different.
Well, she had her phone and her laptop.
Yeah. The guys in front of us had them too. They're allowed. That's why I'm saying I need to get a badge from Real Talk. They're allowed. Just gallery people aren't allowed.
Yeah, they told us as we went in that it was that they had, limited number of places to sit, and if you run out of space and you don't get in, we're not having a lottery in Leon County.
No, media's first. So I was wondering if that was Richard Chagrin and that Susan lady, but it's not. I just looked him up, so it's not. I don't know who they were. I'm gonna have to ask the people Jeff Burlew if he knew them. I'm gonna ask Jeff Burlew if he knew who they were. The reporter from the Democrat. I just didn't know who they were, but they kind of hung around. Like when we were all leaving, I thought they have to be friends of Harvey's. They have to, because I've never seen them before. And when they were leaving, they kind of held back waiting for Harvey to come out. But I didn't see them walk with Harvey.
No, they did not go with Harvey.
But I was like, they have to know who that is. So, but it was all very interesting. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you came with me. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I didn't think they had much of a chance from reading the stuff ahead of time, but Jackie did an excellent job of making it sound like, oh, this is not a big deal. She's not going to Vietnam this time. And she was just going to clear her head. Donna's had a lot of fuzzy head. She kept talking about how she just couldn't think straight. And she did that several times for different issues.
So Caroline from Scotland says, getting older and weight gain and not much exercise will leave you breathless. And Donna mentioned that on the stand. She said she's gained 30 pounds, a third of her body weight. So
Yeah.
she must weigh around 150 now. Is somewhere in there.
Yeah, because she thought she was fat when she was at 112, as I recall.
Yeah. Is that what she was when she was arrested, 112?
I just remembered. No, I remember that from Wendy saying that Weight Watchers wouldn't let Donna join because she weighed 112.
That's like my Scott. Scott goes to like a weight loss clinic and they're like, you can't anymore. He gets rejected. I'm like, Scott, you're almost see-through. Like, you can't just keep going. But yeah, so I giggle it when I hear her say that. But I wonder what her weight was. Hold on one second. I wonder what it was. What was her weight? Her new mug shots. So hard to get information out of this damn county now.
How tall is Donna? Is she 5'7"?
Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh no, she's not that tall. No, she's probably 5'6", 5'5". I mean, she might have been, when she first started, but now much less.
Yeah, I think from looking at her, she doesn't weigh 150. She weighs, I'd say, somewhere between 160 and 170.
Oh no, her little skinny legs. I don't think so. We'll see.
I just know how much fatter than me she is. I'll put it down.
Booking information. I'm gonna have to do a FOIA request on it. They have it all. People are losing it. Complaint, probable cause, arrest affidavit. Yeah, her booking thing is blocked right now. I just thought I saw it. Well, they didn't bring up, they want to do that deposition on the 2 drug addicts that tried to extort from her, remember? So when I did the thumbnail on this YouTube, it was Cassidy. Did you see how it's spelled? Casidhe. I had to look it up like 4 times. Cassidy Conroy and Brittany Purcell. And those are the girls that they brought up the last case management hearing that supposedly were trying to tell her and extort her.
Baby.
Yeah, that people were like, there was Catherine Magbanua knew and blah blah blah. That Catherine was going to go after the Adelsons. Neither one of those people look like they can barely hold their head up. So,
well, they may drug themselves out of the picture.
They're both such long-term addicts. But that deposition's coming up. But I don't see anything in the docket that helps me determine her current weight. Oh, but she is definitely heavier. She's heavier through the hips. And she's conscious of it. So she was like, I have this soup and these noodles and chips that I don't eat. She's like, I don't eat that stuff. Because she is so conscious of her weight.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool. We don't get the booking report anymore. This is horrible. Nothing's good. Damn federal court. It's just, I don't know what her weight is. maybe if I had body weight. I'm gonna have to pull a foil on her. But did you see her when she was talking about that lady? Of course you did. You were sitting next to me, molesting her, taking her hand up on her back.
Oh, I think she was really crying then.
I think so too. I think that really bothered her. And I didn't think, well, like maybe it happened, maybe it didn't happen. But after her discussing that, I think it happened. I think it absolutely happened.
That sounded very credible to me, and her reaction I thought was very genuine. Some of the other stuff I didn't believe, but that she was really distressed that some woman put a move on her.
Now, see, I believe everything she said she believes. I do, because I know how older people get. The older you get, the more, a lot of times, I won't say every time, you get very self-focused. You're very like, my arm, my arm, my arm. The less you have something to do, the more self-focused you get. And so she doesn't have a lot to do. And she's going to sit there and concentrate on my arm, my arm, my arm, instead of Dan Markel got shot in his garage. Which, here she was. I found it. At her weight at the time, you are right, was 140. And she was 5'6". So I was right about the height. You were right about the weight. Found it.
That makes her basically an inch shorter than me.
So she's like 170?
Yep. Remember,
she didn't think she was 140 when she started. She's got the hips. Like, she's got major hip baggage. But her legs are skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Like her chicken-legged daughter. Am I wrong? Wendy got the chicken legs, man. She's like, my hair is like pissing me off. It's so floppy. It's super windy out, but all of a sudden we have summer. It's like 85 degrees out. It was freezing this morning. And now I'm like, oh, Tallahassee just had summer arrive. It's crazy. But yeah, she weighed 140 at the time of her arrest.
Then she has to weigh 170.
Yeah, she has to be 170, which shocks me. It really does. I mean, she's definitely full in the face, but again, it's hard to tell because let me see if I can bring an image up while she was at today's hearing. Because she's had so much work done, it's falling. So it's really hard for me to tell what is really going on. I have a picture from the Democrat, and I'll tell you what, that girl, Alicia Devine, I tell her every time I see her, that is one brilliant photographer. I watch her work and she gets the best photos. She's humble. She is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like, newspaper photographer. Look, can you see this picture, lady, in the elevator?
I can.
See, I couldn't really see her on the stand because the camera guy, videographer, was in front of me. So if I was going to watch Donna, I had to watch it in his camera.
Yeah.
But she is puffy there. But again, I couldn't tell if it was her face falling. She's got that marionette thing. And ain't it hard to believe that her ear canals are tiny?
Her outside ears are quite
Not.
As Jackie Fulford, I have to say trash about her too. Her ears stick out through her blonde hair.
I know. Bless her little heart.
And
she's tight. She's a tight thing. Cowboy
boots with her suit. I couldn't believe she had that on.
I told you. I mean, well, she's the one I tell everyone. She's all over the radio on radio ads. The Fulford Young Funeral Home. So she's a funeral director and an attorney. Yeah, this is just something to behold, man. Seeing her there.
I didn't think she looked that good.
God, my neck looks like her neck. It is.
I think she might have had fillers that have drifted down too.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's why it was hard for me to tell. Like, look how Well, that's what I mean. The fillers have just slipped. And I'm sure there's added weight, of course, but she is nothing like herself.
Her ears look like LBJ's. Y'all may not be old enough to remember what he looked like.
I remember. There's Jackie Fulford. She's a smart woman. This is when this is when, not when she was talking. Yeah, it is. It's when she's talking about being molested, because that's when the bailiff brought over the tissues.
Yeah.
She's an amazing photographer. I just don't see tears here. I think she really cried with the molestation, but I don't see tears there. I didn't see them in the courtroom, and I just don't.
Like when she was supposedly crying during her interview with Isom.
So that image right there on her bracelet is a mugshot.
Oh.
That's what that is. Harvey is not testifying. He did not testify, and he will not testify. That's my bet. You guys can take me up on the bet, but I do not. Look how thick that is. The shackles. But you can see kind of upside down. That's her mugshot.
Oh, wow. I think Harvey thought he would be able to take his sweet Donna home today.
I think so too. That's what I was sitting there watching. I thought, these people are so delusional. He's probably rented a unit up here. And he's like, I think that's what it is. And you can tell here in the photo, she's like a fullback. You can tell she's filled out.
Oh, see, I see it through her
what?
To her section. And since they don't have bras in jail, the girls have slid down to add to the weight.
Oh, yeah. They'd be like me now. Again, my neck looks like this today. And she's 75 and I'm 58. Oh. This is when she's looking at the Harvey. That's who she's looking at. It's the only time I saw her sitting down. Remember I told you she's having a hard time keeping her shizzle together. Except I said, there you go. This is where she's looking at Harvey too. Absolutely amazing. What an amazing 3 hours. I just can't believe I lived to see it. I just never thought she'd get this far. I thought she'd die. I thought she'd already be dead. Thought she'd die. And look at her looking at him. Now, I know Alicia took pictures of him. This is in the very beginning. They conferred about Smiley v. State, which is the wiretap case law. There she is looking at him again. I don't know if she published a picture of Harvey, but I know she took one. Yeah, they don't have bras because you can strangle yourself. That's Josh Zellman, and that was Sarah Dugan's co-counsel for the day. I forget his name. Georgia Kappelman was at trial. There she is looking. That's just the Harvey look. The only thing I have to compare to that was when I was in basic training. No, not basic training. I was in tech school in the Air Force, and which is Rantoul, Illinois, outside of Champaign, which is where University of Illinois is. And my dad came to visit me. He had a warehouse he managed in Zion, in Illinois. And so he drove down from Zion to see me. And I could not give him a hug. And that was the only thing I can think in my life that was similar, where you couldn't reach out or he couldn't touch me. You weren't allowed to touch, but he could visit me. And that's the only example I have. And it's something that's really welded into my brain and has been, as my dad sat there and was like, you know, this is really hard on your mother. Like, you know, you knew I was joining the service. I'm so sorry. But that's what I remember. Like sitting at my dad, like, I just want to hug you. This is that same time frame where they were conferring right before the trial started. or hearing started. There you go. Doesn't that look like Harvey?
Tiniest little thing.
He really is.
So thin. Now she may only weigh 112 pounds.
He doesn't weigh. He is tiny. That suit is huge on him. Huge.
And
Look at the collar.
he's growing a beard, but it's really short, so gray, and makes him look just even older and like a little man. Makes him look even older.
Really does. I mean, he's 80. He's a few years older than her.
And that is old.
But just walking, you see how really slight he is. And then I'm sitting there. This is my like stream of consciousness in my head. I'm like, he's a doctor? Like, he was a dentist? Like, people went to him?
And paid him
like, really?
For a discount.
For a discount if you have cash. I just couldn't even.
Safe. IRS, look the other way. That's not me taking cash.
So that's Jason Newland, the investor. Oh, no, he's with state attorney, not the sheriff. That's why he was still in the building. He has an office in the building. There you go. There's a closer setup of Harvey. Unbelievable.
Those are really.
He has a knot right here where there's like a glare. He has like a cyst or a knot on his head right here. Because I could see it. And of course, I want to diagnose somebody from across the court. But he has a significant knot, which here you can see it here a little bit more, where that flashes. It's where he touches it. Damn.
Maybe he's got a brain tumor.
But okay, so let's talk about a couple things. So the bailiff, who was kind enough to bring her the tissues, also told Harvey to never speak again to her. You caught that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He said, stop talking to her. He was real loud. And Harvey goes, excuse me? And he goes, stop talking to her. And he goes, okay. And that was that. Because he was mouthing words to her. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to communicate with the jailee. So if people have questions, let's go to their questions, lady in the elevator.
Listen, I would change my name on YouTube. I don't know how.
Okay, it's okay. No one will pull the wool over Judge Everett's eyes, says Wesley. They will not. No. I mean, it's going to be case law, and that's all law. Like, it's not emotional. It's not, you will never hear Judge Everett going, I'm going to start laughing. I don't mean to rush you. It's never said in the courtroom. I mean to rush you. We're on the court's time. We need to go. I have other people waiting. Oh, Norma says, I hope Patty survives watching Donna's pitiful facial expressions. I did. Hi, Bling. Well, one thing that I noticed was she didn't have all these health issues when she was being represented by Rashbaum. Lori Keith says, and that's what I pointed out. You had an issue in October with the large woman, which if she was over 6, she's a big woman, you know, is shaking you down for some soup. Why didn't you deal with it when you were at your next case management hearing? Like, and the jail was being mean. Like, why didn't you do that? I don't know.
You know, one thing I noticed, they made it very clear that it was Dan Rashbaum that told Donna that she could flee, because it's always been kind of,
I know,
who really said it, and they just flat out said, oh yeah, it was Dan.
Well, apparently, according to Jackie Fulford, the defense attorney, the Dan or someone called the state attorney's office and said, you don't have a warrant, you can go. There's no indictment, so you can go. I don't know how truthful that is, but Jackie Fulford certainly wouldn't be standing there saying it. The other part about that was, which they didn't hit, I already know this because this is what I was arrested for. Okay, so you're in a room. Well, it's kind of not really, but just think of it like communications, right? Who's in your communications? You have your attorney in a room. Your attorney's husband is in the room. Your husband is in the room. You do not have attorney-client privilege at that time. That's why Sarah Dugan asked, is this Richard Chagrin was his name? Is he an attorney? No. I was really surprised they didn't come back to that and say, well, then you didn't have privilege. There was no privilege because you don't have privilege. If there's anyone in the room besides your attorney and you have no privilege. There's no expectation of privacy. And they didn't mention it. Thank you, Patty, for your attendance. Oh, no problem. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was more amazing than the Charlie Adelson Arthur hearing, for sure. Did Donna give me the stink eye? I didn't notice a stink eye because I was the furthest from her than anyone else in that room. So I didn't notice it, but I definitely know she caught my eye, but I didn't notice where she was like talking to Dan at that time. I didn't notice that. You all told me. Harvey was there, saw his picture, looks aged. Yeah, he does. I couldn't believe it. Oh, it was nice of him to finally show up. Lady in the elevator, what did you say? Like, what did you say?
Show
He
up
didn't go to his son something?
No, he wouldn't show up for his son's trial.
Hey, Jay, how are you? Jay says, Jay Bronius says, how dare the jail not give Donna a masseuse? Well, they're not going to let her out for physical therapy. That's just not happening. So the judge cannot make changes to the jail procedures, and Donna's health issues are normal for inmates her age. ALS gal, you could be a judge. Harvey definitely looks rough. I'm sure it was very hard for him to see her. But I think they all also went to lunch. So there is that. Harvey looking older than usual. He absolutely did. I was floored by the whole thing. I really had a hard time focusing on the witnesses. I've been on the receiving end of a jail call, Indy Nana says, and at the end, I heard a message that said the inmate had hung him up. Interesting. Well, there was no message. Interesting. She has to feel regret today, y'all think? No, she feels no regret. She sat there and said, I didn't do it.
And also, it was clear to me that they're planning on having her testify in her own behalf at the trial.
Yeah, she will definitely testify at the trial. I mean, she shouldn't. I think she's much better off not. Then it is a lot of speculation until they get into Chris Corbett's phone records. Ooh, an hour and 9 minutes. Did you hear that? About the difference between the normal travel going around Charlie's house and back up to Orlando. Yep. And there was an hour and 9 minute difference.
Yep.
And the guy who was sitting, the couple that was up from you, catty corner that I mentioned, there was another guy in a green shirt who was nodding, yep. So I don't know why he was nodding, but he was nodding. It was like an hour and 9 minutes. Had you heard that before?
No, I've not heard that before. I did also think it's interesting that Sarah brought up WhatsApp stuff. I'm betting anything that they've got WhatsApp messages between our lovely Wendy and her brother Charlie.
I think so too. Good catch. I think so too. Not only Wendy and Charlie, Donna, Wendy, Donna, Charlie.
And yeah, they're gonna. I pray, and I believe that Georgia has got some more stuff on Wendy.
I did send good vibes to Sarah Dugan, Norma. Lily says Harvey thought he'd be able to get Donna to their new apartment right away. I think so too. I think that's exactly what happened. They didn't believe you about Harvey, kind of like a YouTuber not believing a subscriber when she tells you Donna saw you. Yeah, I didn't believe it at first. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that Donna knew who I was until someone showed the video. I'm like, why would she know me? It makes no sense. Yeah, he thought he was gonna take his wife away to an Airbnb. Just don't break the glasses, Harvey. You'll never recover. Bail money was in his pocket. Yeah. He had an expensive jacket on, but that suit is huge. You can see him sitting here, how big that sleeve is. It looks like a Goodwill jacket for sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, Mentor Lawyer was there. I saw him on the street behind the courthouse afterwards.
You saw him. I didn't see him.
I saw him.
Yeah. He wasn't sitting in the courtroom. He must have stayed in the media room.
Yeah, must have.
They did. They had a beautiful life and a beautiful family. Imagine my husband goes, I'm going to start giggling. Sorry. Patty, this tragedy has happened. We need to take a deep breath. Let's go to Vietnam.
Clear our mind.
Clear.
Yeah, Donna had a lot.
Oh, I did. I asked her to scoot over so a lady in the elevator could sit with me. Debbie's laughing because she's like, Patty, an introvert, telling the media. But remember, I know all these people now. Like, this isn't, I just showed up one day. It was like, where do I sit? The first time I went, it was not like today. But
This is not Patty's rodeo.
Huh?
This is not Patty's first rodeo.
No, it's not my first day at the courthouse. First day at the courthouse, I was like, I'm just going to sit here and not move because I don't want anything bad to happen to me. Oh, yeah, no one else. I didn't see, Tim Jansen didn't come in today. There was a gentleman on the other side behind Harvey. It had a notepad. I'd never seen him before with a gray backpack. He was clearly some sort of media. I just didn't know. Yeah, she was doing the state a favor by visiting Vietnam murder. That's what he wrote, by going to a non-extradition country. I still don't understand it, though. There was no one, I said this way at the beginning when she was arrested. There was no indictment, and there was no warrant out for her arrest. I mean, it doesn't mean they can't create a warrant, but up to that point, I thought she was free to leave too. I'm not an attorney or a judge. Katie Cool Lady auctioned off her seat. Can you imagine? That's like a retrial. That Nick Rocco auctioning off a seat in a courthouse. Can you imagine? Can you imagine going in front of the judge, Everett, and saying, and he's younger than me, and saying, hey, I thought I'd sell these tickets for $25 a piece. Judge would be like, where's my red velvet cake? That's what it would be like. So bad. Harvey was arrested. The Sigfreda was arrested in Harvey's old Lexus. I didn't realize that was the Lexus that where he was arrested. Donna's clearly starved for sympathy. Yeah. What happens when you get older and your kids aren't around?
Rashi calling up here to see if there was a warrant for Donna's arrest might have made them think, I wonder why he's asking that. And that could be why they got a warrant for her arrest.
Yes.
Just in case.
Just in case. The whole thing is a tell. Plus, you got likely, we don't know for sure, Scott Radius, the nightclub manager, calling the FBI. Well, thank you, Seagate. I tried. We did good. I'm enjoying seeing more of Sarah Dugan. Sarah Dugan is on point. No extra words, no word salad, has everything itemized. She's got a little bullet points with a little highlighter, all done and dusted. Love it. Just fantastic. I think she does a fabulous job. Did I lose you?
Me? No.
Okay. I didn't hear you breathe anymore. Kitty Cool Lady will probably try to. Oh yeah. Well, I have a feeling, not just about her wilt, but that courtroom is going to be packed. So if you intend to go to Donna Adelson's trial in June. Be prepared. Don't drink a lot of fluids, because I didn't. My lips were parched when I was leaving. Because you can't leave and get up and go to the bathroom. You can't come back in. This is going to be a lot bigger trial than Charlie's was. Don't you think? Like, it's going to be packed.
Oh, I'm sure you're right about that.
This was just a motion hearing, and there was 18 people. 3 of the deputies were seated. Some had to leave because they could have testified. 3 deputies, like 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's going to be packed every day. It says, oh, well, they lived the high life without care after Dan's murder. Didn't they, though? Let's go on a trip. Let's go to Italy. The phone call, Yala says the phone call suppression is a fascinating legal issue. So I'm going to do a poll, because I don't usually do this, but I'm learning how. A poll on YouTube, whether you all think, hold on one second. There is going to be, who will win this call suppression? Was it 2020? It was 2023, right? Yeah, because yeah, it was 2023. She's already been in there. Will the call be suppressed? Will the call be allowed in? Start the poll. But it'll be interesting what people think. I'm not sure. I think, like, if it were my gut, the call would not be suppressed, because, like Sarah Dugan masterfully said, it was an inadvertent. There was no state action on this. And the judge asked, but wasn't there a warning? Didn't you know? And then Josh Selman, did you hear this, lady in the elevator? Josh Selman said she had to go end. And then Everett said, well, don't you have to just hit it one time?
Yep.
And then later on, Sarah Dugan said on the second day, that's when Harvey noticed the phone hadn't disconnected. So she's just walking off with her phone because she's upset, clearly upset. So she's not thinking. And you think when I didn't hang on my phone today, I didn't triple check it, but like double check that phone is actually ended, and she didn't. So I'll be interested to see what happens. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be suppressed or not?
I think that Everett will let it in, especially when she kept saying hit end. He says you don't have to do it once. So I don't think he was believing that stuff at all.
Because then Josh Selman goes, well, she thought she did. Well, it's like, we all know how a phone works, and we all know how a cell phone works. Patricia Burns says, I watched earlier and couldn't help wondering if Wendy was watching her mom on the stand and what she may felt like she has to feel some sort of guilt. I don't think they feel guilt. I think we as normal, relatively, I'll speak for myself, relatively normal people, somewhat adjusted in life, believe you would feel regret, guilt, sorrow, shame. I don't think they have it.
I'm sure Wendy was watching them.
Yeah, I don't believe it. So Harvey is ruthless. B Rabbit says a ruthless life has consequences. Maybe may he in his final years reap what he's sown. I think he realizes it. I think he realized it long ago. I think he knows what his family got him into. Do you think she was holding on to the phone the whole time, Laura? I think she put the phone down. Like laid it down. I don't think she was carrying it. Do you think so, lady?
No, I think Downing was running through her living room talking to all her friends. And they were there to set up the trust. So I think that they were I think estate lawyers.
Yeah. Well, he was. I don't know what Richard does. I'm gonna have to look I'm gonna have to look up what he does. But they said he was an attorney. Debbie says we had to show the judge he would move there to take care of her should she be out on bond in his dreams. Rosemary thinks the motions will be denied. I didn't realize either, Seagate, that Adam Fresh got out on bail. And he said in that article, when I looked it up, that he did not, did I keep it? He did not have access to his own money. And that his practice, the podiatry practice, had been closed down. So, Rosemary thinks denied. Let's see. Donna brought all this on herself. Patricia says, which is true. No one will pull the wool over Judge Everett's eyes, says Wesley. They will not. Rashbaum totally screwed Charlie, no question. Apparently he screwed Donna too. I mean, if that was his advice, well, you can go, you can try. Does anyone just say the word no? Like, no, you can't go.
How about that's a really bad idea?
It doesn't look good. Can Judge Everett please be teleported to the Karen Reed case, right? I mean, you don't even feel like this is going to take all day when you're in there, do you? Like, we're going to be out. Do I know people who currently work at the jail? Yes, I still do. But I can't ask them.
The deputies
are not allowed to just like divulge to me whatever. I know the bailiffs. Remember the guy I tapped when we were leaving, and I said, "Oh my God, that's an assault." I tapped him and I was like, "I'll have to buy you coffee as a bribe to not charge me." He's the one who's up and down. Well, I know he was with Charlie and he's been down there with Donna a couple times. I can't say what they say. He's not allowed to tell me that. I'm not getting him in trouble. But anyway, yeah, I do know that he just said one time to me, Charlie was a handful when it came down to being in the cells in the basement of the courthouse before they come up. That's all he said. Yeah. No one else was in the courtroom. There were only, did Patty mention seeing Harvey? Yes. There were only 18 people in there that I counted. Can she get bond for gunky ear syndrome? No, but I just thought of a new TLC TV show. I would love to see that sound thing. Have you ever had that done, lady in the elevator, where they put a sound thing in your ear to break up the earwax?
I don't have issues with earwax, Patty. So
I'm asking. You could have narrow ears.
Apparently, I have huge ears because my
hold on, I gotta look that up now.
Will barely stay.
So I know my doctor just got something because my husband has the issue. I mean, that man, honest to Pete, cannot hear you. So is it a sound machine, she said? FDA auto set ear cleaning. First automated FDA cleared irrigation and microsuction. Oh no. But I know with when I was talking about my daughter, who she just basically, lady just had like a cochlear put in. And Wash Pro. Before that, with her ears, because she would get so much infection, they had to put whatever in to soften the wax, and then they put in these long tweezers. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, they were probably 2 feet long, going into her ear canal. Fascinating. And then pulling all that out. But that was YouTube. 1992. Go ahead.
I said, you can see videos on YouTube of doctors cleaning people's earwax out.
I have to. I'm going to have to go do that now.
If you ever follow Dr. Pimple Popper?
Oh my God, I love her.
Get all kinds
I should have been a dermatologist. Oh. It's such a satisfactory. How did, like, that's what I was thinking when I saw the little thingy on Harvey's head, was like, man, if I could pop that. Like a sebaceous cyst, you know, and they cut it and then all that like eggshell stuff comes out. Fascinating.
That's great stuff.
Oh God. Anyway, that's what she wanted to go to ENT. It's some sort of, it is some sort of sound machine. I'm not wrong. It is a sound machine. And the waves of it's making my ears itch.
The white bag to Harvey was,
it's a whooshing and sucking sound. It's a
woman,
sound wave.
Woman who didn't look like a came up in the elevator. That was her white bag.
Say that again.
Not my guess.
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. Say that again.
I said somebody asked about the white bag next to Harvey.
Oh, that was that attorney's.
That was attorney's, I guess, substitute for a briefcase.
Murder says Donna there in jail begging to get her canals drilled is just weird. Well, clearly, I mean, if you have impacted ear canals, it's painful. So any pressure on your ears is painful. But her son, as people politely bring up, is an ear, nose, and throat doctor. The one that disowned her. So there is that. So bad. Is Donna so hard of hearing? She didn't sound hard of hearing today. She wasn't sound hard of hearing, and she knew her dates and her times. So all of that hogwash is out the wall. Mia says, I'm telling you, the reason her ear canals are so impinged, great term, and narrow is because the weight of those earlobes is compressing the eustachian tube. But that impinged is a great term. So thank you for that. Insurance used to pay to lance acne and do chemical peels in the 70s. Don't you miss it? But that doctor, I love Dr. Pimple Popper. What made you wait until that moment to go to the doctor and get that 2-pound zit off your back? It's just crazy.
How long have you had that pimple? Oh,
12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his attorneys. Does anyone know what this says, though? Was anyone able to figure this out? I took a second picture. Let me see if I have it on there. I took a second photo just in case they tried to confiscate my phone. No, because their bag is on it pretty clearly. Wait, this might have it. It's definitely oration something. Reserved for, what could it be? Oration? That's what it definitely says. Come on, you sleuths, you got to tell me what it says. Reserved for, it's not duration, if that's an O. And this is centered, so this is a centered word, right? So there's only one, maybe, let's see, R-E-S is over here. Reserved for, anyone know what that says? What was the ruling? We don't have a ruling on anything. Nothing. Everything was, gotta wait, gotta review. Reserved for Oscar winner. Seat fillers. Did Donna actually testify to Harvey's involvement when she said both of them would return when they were charges, not just I would return?
yes.
I mean, I don't think it was his involvement, but it was they were going together and they were going to come home together. I'm sure if she would have been nice to her New York doctor, he'd go in there and take care of that wax. Yeah, you don't get that close. You don't get that close to that. What is this saying? She was getting extra commissary to bribe inmates, not due to threats.
I think that's correct too.
That's why she's so at it. She could have thrown that shit out. She didn't have to keep it. No, she's not going to throw Charlie under the bus. I don't think so now. Mm-mm. Do you?
I don't think so, because what she has to do is say, Charlie told me that's what happened and I believed him and I'm a loving mother. That's going to be her excuse.
This is definitely an O, though. This is an O and this is an O. It is not a U. So it's not duration.
Officials?
No, because that's RATION. So, oh my Lord. Words begin with duration. How many letters do you think it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Probably 10. I think it's 10 words. 10. Deberation, roberation. I'm going to have to look up some of these. Reserved for
Officials?
no, because it says ORATION at the bottom. I don't know if you could see the zoom.
No, I couldn't see it.
Is that an N? This could be an N, though. This could be O Nation. This could be an N instead of an R. Reserved for, maybe that's what it is. It's O.
And you guys, hit that like button.
Detonation, intonation, coronation. I'm just going to have to ask my buddy. I'm going to have to ask my buddy, the retired bailiff, see if he'll tell me. What is Patty looking? Oh, let me see. Oh, I'll show it to you again. Hold on. It's this. So this says O. I think this is an R because that's an R, and you can see how it stretches out here. ATION. And her bag's here. 4. This is an E. Reserved. It was taped to the seat.
Yeah, that looks permanent.
I didn't see it last time.
Well, I mean, it looks like there's Scotch tape holding it down.
Yeah. But that, I mean, they could have pulled, like, just for them, so that she would be behind them. Donna would have focused on what her life would have been like as a senior than focusing on unaliving her son-in-law. I think she did. She wanted those kids up there. Organization. That's definitely not a Z because it has that bar here. Probation. There you go, baby doll. You win. It could be for probation. Yeah. PROB. It could be a B. Very good. Thank you. Probation. I'm going to verify it, but that's what I think it is. Reserved for probation. Good job. Ovulation. No, it's not, because that's what I wanted to know too. Was it for her? But I bet it is for probation. Like, it's, yeah, I bet it is. But I'm going to ask my, he's a retired bailiff. He was a bailiff in the other trials by the judges. So I'm going to ask him. He'll probably know, but it's probably probation. Did Harvey acknowledge you? No. I mean, he saw me, especially when they were leaving. He saw me in the courtroom and looked up at me. He knew exactly who I was. Patty, can you zoom in on his face? Yeah. So that's not a hearing aid. That's just the end of his glasses. And this is where that bump was that I wanted to pop. He's got that very wispy hair that he's trying to save.
At least he's not doing a comb over.
No, there's nothing to. I mean, he just has very sparse. Where is my girl's photo of him? Donna. Hold on.
Yes, he's unshaven. He has sort of an old man beard working.
Yeah, it's kind of like that crusty face stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, he does have a hearing aid here. See the tube? He has a hearing aid. You can see it going into his ear. Do you see it? It's right here.
Yep, I see it. And yeah, that is definitely a beard, but just not a very good one.
Yeah, he's got a hearing aid right here, and then this. But he was very thin. But he has that dimple here. He didn't wave. Oh. He is unshaven, and he did not wave to me. No. Oh, no waving. He looks like Salman Rushdie. With 2 eyes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's true. He does. Oh, from the side. I just had to go look. Oh, my God. That's his earwax draining tube. That's definitely a hearing aid. Small hearing aid. She was just, look at her looking for him. Your life is over. And that's what I was wondering at the end when they were wrapping it up and Sarah Dugan was going over the presumption of guilt, right? That they presume themselves to be guilty. Talking about the, leaving for the flight and going over all of this. And I was watching Donna's face and it was flat. There was no emotion at all. And I thought, oh, now you know. Now you know you're done. Did you get that from her summation, lady, at the end from Sarah Dugan?
I thought the summary was very good. And then Jackie came on and said, well, there's no real proof. Well, yeah, you can try. But the whole going to Vietnam, that to me is just like, bing. That's she's cooked.
So Thumper says, was Donna's woman lawyer, Jackie Fulford, yelling and obnoxiously loud? No, it wasn't obnoxiously loud. These courtrooms, I was looking up at the ceiling when I was trying not to smile. So I'd look up like this. That's when my neck will stretch, so it looks like a normal person. But the sound in there is horrible. So please don't assume that she was just being loud for the sake of it or screaming. I think she really felt the emotion that she was sharing. I thought she did very well. Better in person than it sounded like over TV. She did really well. I hate saying it, but I think she did well. Jackie.
I agree. I thought it was such a poor case, but when she actually presented, I went, well, that's pretty well presented for not having a whole lot of substance.
Poor Josh Zellman, he had to keep looking at his paperwork to get the dates, and I think he was very nervous. I don't know how many murder cases he's done. I really don't. Zero? I only saw drunk driving, but he may have done others. I really don't know, so I'm not going to assume. But he seemed a little bit more nervous. He did say before the hearing started he had been well rested, so that's good for him. He was in a jovial mood, also good for him. But she's just far more experienced, and you can tell. She did much better than Rashbaum ever could have done for Donna Adelson. Ever. He just didn't have it. He's not that kind of attorney. What do you think, lady?
I thought she was much better than Rashbaum. Rashbaum, I thought I mean, I'm just judging from TV, but he just didn't come across as good or likable or competent. I thought he was awful. I mean, they're paying him a bunch of money to be awful.
Yeah.
But I thought Jackie was good. Yeah. The man lawyer, Zelman.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, he did seem confused. I mean, as soon as he said that it was from July, I was going, July?
Like,
I mean,
Sarah fixed it for him. I think he was just nervous. It's a lot. You have all these people. You're not used to being on the TV. The entire gallery, for the most part, is media or jail officials. It's a lot. So thank you, Kim. Thank you very much from Canada for sharing with me today. I appreciate it very much. But I think Jackie well outdid. I was very shocked at how well she did. I've never seen her in court, never watched her, but I don't think it was screaming to be screaming. I think women are hard on women, so I'll give myself that. I'm hard on her because she's a female. I just am. But I think she did a bang-up job. Probably too good. It's a 50-50 for me whether they suppress the phone call. She's not getting out of jail. Like, that's not happening. But whether they suppress that call or not, I'm not sure.
well, they've got the emergency visa to Vietnam, got them trying to get on the plane from Vietnam. Consciousness of guilt.
That's true. What did she? I didn't know, and maybe you heard it because you listened to the WhatsApp, and I was looking at the people. I was like, the WhatsApp and the visa. What did that even mean? What is she talking about?
WhatsApp used to be considered to be unbreakable, and that's what criminals use to communicate with other criminals.
But where did the visa have to go with WhatsApp?
Because Donna used WhatsApp to talk to a woman from Vietnam to get an emergency visa.
I almost spilled my Diet Coke.
And I knew that WhatsApp was breakable because they broke a email that Hunter Biden sent blackmailing some Chinese people. So I knew it was breakable. I was certain that Wendy and Charlie at least used it. She said,
so let me break it down because people aren't sure what we're talking about. So Sarah Dugan, when she was summarizing at the end, which I don't know how long it lasted that I could bring it up, but Sarah Dugan summarizes it at the end, and she talks about the visa and WhatsApp. I know what WhatsApp is. So like Lady in the Elevator said, WhatsApp is an app. It's owned by Meta, which owns Facebook and the Instagram. And WhatsApp used to be fully encrypted on both ends.
Correct.
However, I just went through cybersecurity school, and I know personally that WhatsApp is crackable. Whether you have coders like are in Doge and the White House cracking, I mean, they could easily get in. I don't believe that it was uncrackable even then. I think everything is crackable. Was it around to be able to get? Hard to say. But this was only like 2 years ago. So at the time, according to Lady, as she understands, correct me if I'm wrong, Donna was using WhatsApp to call a lady in Vietnam to get an emergency visa. Am I accurate in saying that?
That's correct. And remember Georgia asking Wendy at Charlie's trial, how long have you had WhatsApp? And she went, I don't know really when. So Georgia's got some WhatsApp from Wendy.
And that is accurate, I believe, also because Wendy, you know what liars do? They have to tell a story to justify the lie. They always do, every time. And Wendy goes on to say, oh, we just use it occasionally, and then the kids for school and all the parents are on the WhatsApp. No, they're not. 95 times out of 6,000, they're on like GroupMe. They're on all of these other apps. GroupMe is free. It's easy. I'm on a GroupMe for Jerry Cigars. Like, it's a super easy thing to do. No, no, no. And she said it. She's like, offered it. No one asked her. No one asked Wendy. And she goes on to tell a story about her kids and all the parents are on the WhatsApp. You think that's not easy to figure out? Every liar lies, and every liar tells a story that they shouldn't be telling. That's fantastic, lady. Thank you. Wait, there's another question. Oh, Murder says, poor Harvey looks like he just rolled out of the bed. Well, it was an early day. Patricia Burns thinks he looks like Raoul Dahl. I could see that. I could see Raoul Dahl. Actually, Harvey's kind of in prison of his own. Yeah, he is, Michelle. That's facts. And now, and his daughter even left. Like, she's in Austin. And he needs a haircut pre. Yes, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. And subscribe if you feel the urge. Wendy said her dad had hearing issues, so she talked more to her mom on the phone. Thank you for that, Indy Nana. How do we know he has two eyes? Well, I saw both of them. But it was really not the dead on when I saw him in the lobby. It was the profile that I picked up that it was Harvey. If you see him again, tell him his grandparents' tombstones need to be cleaned. Betty. You know, he loved Betty. Betty was special. He looks like a shell of a man. The crime is never worth the time. Yeah, what'd she say? She was on a 1/2-inch mattress?
I think that was an exaggeration.
No, it's not. It's really very thin. It really is. It's very thin. It's more like, it's like an under-glorified gym mat. Remember when we used to go to gym? PT? And we would have, like, in our gym, we had blue mats that we'd have to do the somersaults on or something. It's kind of like that, but thinner. They're very thin. Get a round-trip ticket? That's the other thing. They only ordered one-way ticket. But I just ordered a one-way ticket to Venice, so do not assume anything. I'm going to Venice, Italy, and I ordered a one-way ticket because coming home, I'm leaving from another town. So it's not a runaway thing. I'm not fleeing, just FYI. Why on earth would they think of offering? I do not know, dear. I do not know. All divorces end at some point. Eventually, people kind of get along. There's just no reason. Is Jay Bronius still in here? Did anyone see what he wrote on the Twitter? Hold on one second. Let me get it. He had a very brilliant point the other day about timing on the Adelson trial, and I want to be right about it. Oh, here he is right here. He's got clip. He's already done it for her. He's already got the clips. He's already managed to get. Where is he right? He picked up something I did not figure out. One. This is the lessee. It wasn't a lessee. It was the day. I'm trying to find it. I'm on his Twitter. Going live. He talks about the day that Wendy's, where is it? Something about Wendy was found. Oh, here it is. Let me share it with you. So this is Jay Bronius. Love him. He's a very funny guy. So he goes, let me click on this here and try to make this larger. So Jay Bronius, February 21st. This comment. He goes, just a coincidence that the first filing by Wendy Adelson after the divorce has been finalized, where she alleges Dan didn't transfer her money, is the exact same date that Charlie Adelson asked Catherine Magbanua if she knew anyone who could harm someone. Did anyone else ever pick up on that?
I know what date it was. It was Halloween when he talked.
Yeah, Halloween. But I didn't realize that was the date that Wendy complained about the money not being transferred.
I did not know that. That's a good catch.
The Adelson's divorce became official on July 31st, 2013, as you can see here on the divorce agreement. Now, what I find interesting is the next filed document, which is on October 31st, 2013. As you can see here in the motion, Wendy Adelson is requesting $70,000 to be transferred to her from Dan Markel, and Wendy's attorney is requesting her fees to be reimbursed. Now, the reason I find this interesting is because it's on October 31st, 2013. Halloween, right? Something else happened on Halloween 2013, if I remember correctly. Let's see.
When did the defendant first bring this idea up to you?
My first recollection was around Halloween of 2013.
Around Halloween or on actual?
On Halloween, yes, ma'am.
All right. What's your recollection of how that came up?
We were at a Halloween party in Lincoln Road, and right before we were about to go, he got in the car with me and he asked me a question.
What was the question?
Do you know anybody that can harm someone?
And did you know anybody that could harm someone?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Who was that?
Sigfredo.
I'm sure this is just a total coincidence, right? There's no way that Charlie would know about Wendy's divorce, right? Or that Wendy would say anything to Charlie about this. Really, just Donna and Charlie are being blackmailed, right? And Wendy had no idea, right? Right?
Damn. So good. Jay Bronius, this is his Twitter. If you go on Twitter or X, please follow him. He has fabulous content. My favorite stuff right now, because he is expanding out, is his bird cam. So this dog is mounting, two girl dogs mounting each other. Absolute hilarity. He's got this squirrel that's eating out. He's had to do all this stuff with this in his what's he call it? Like as he ages, he's got these squirrels cameras and bird cameras out. But I don't know if I'll find one. But he's very funny. You got to go look at him. Jay's fabulous, really is. But anyway, I didn't know about that date. Where are you?
Me?
Lady? Yeah. It's all black, which is fine. You don't have to show anything.
Oh,
I just wanted to make sure you're still here. Her face
yeah. I
looked
was looking for Jay Bronius.
Oh, Jay Bronius on Twitter at Jay Bronius. Like it sounds. So funny. Hey, AJ Legal Focus. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for doing this. But Jay brought that up and I was like, oh, I never realized Halloween was the day. Never realized it. I hope the state gets a hold of that. Patricia says she doesn't believe in coincidences. AA Legal Focus is another one to follow. Please do so. Let me see if I can get her. Oh, where's my my poll is still up. Will the call be allowed in? Get her profile so I can share it. Every time I bring up AA Legal Focus, I'm not going to lie, it shows the banana bread video. So it is just AA Legal Focus. So her is at AA Legal Focus. And that's on YouTube. And I'm going to share Jay Bronius just a second as soon as that goes through. At Jay Bronius. So I hope you share with him. He is really fabulous. Super fun guy. I don't know him personally, never met him, but he's absolutely hilarious. I only got to watch a little bit of the hearing this morning because I had my own court hearing. Well, I hope you did well. I'm sure you did. Grateful to hear your firsthand reports. Thank you, Judy. Very nice. The call should be admitted, says Judy. Interesting. Very interesting. No, the call, it is not a picture of an owl necklace, but that's funny. I wonder if Wendy's personality is more like Harvey's, cold and calculated. And the only one not in jail. Yeah, I bet she is. I bet she is more like her father. I mean, it just makes sense. Oh, what is your pet's name? What is your dog's name?
Her name is Violet.
Oh, beautiful.
It's like,
It's
what are you doing, Mommy?
Jansen said it'll be allowed into. I don't know. I mean, I'm more than willing to admit I don't know enough about, and I probably would be wrong about recording someone, but there definitely was no attorney-client privilege, although Josh Zellman, the male attorney, tried to imply that she was speaking privately to her attorney because the attorney's husband was there. And I was surprised that Sarah Dugan didn't kind of like challenge that just in open court. I know the judge knows, but in open court for everyone to learn from it. Once the husband's in the room of the attorney, you don't have attorney-client privilege. Yeah, I'm not a judge, but I was worried the call would be suppressed. I mean, I honestly thought it was 50-50 when they were done, because the judge said the defenses, how did he put it? That they've met this level, whatever level that was. I'd have to go back and watch it. That the defense met that level, and then it was Sarah had to come out and say what her level was, and that's what she had to present. So,
Yeah, got it.
oh, Roberta did a great job. I'll have to listen to it. It's not hearsay because she can't hear. Okay. You got it covered, lady, because we can see your head.
I know.
You hope when Jibs and Jabs come up with another video soon, like when Jibs starts taking off on Donna Adelson, that's going to be hilarious. Both her attorney and Newland said both parties would need to hang up to end the recording, and she just didn't hang up. She didn't. The doggy is cute. She didn't hang up. I mean, she didn't. And that's when Josh Selman's like, I'm going to use my phone. Like everything is tap, tap, tap. Got to end. I'm like, and then Judge says, but do you? But do you have to keep going? No. He used to have a channel, Jay, The Shaming of Jay on YouTube. He just changed his name recently. He and his wife Shannon, Babe, are great. She's funny too. She's very funny. I love their setup in their room. I love their setup. I wish I can't close this off though, but it was a great setup. Call should be admitted. That makes me feel better. AA Legal Focus makes me feel so much better. Because I was sitting there, I'm like, I don't know. Didn't know. Aw, Judy's got love in here. Her facelift her face is swollen. This could be good evidence used to arrest Wendy and put her on trial. I was surprised Donna, and did you guys hear Donna like correct herself? Like not correct herself, but make sure she got in there that I didn't do this. Like,
I believe the Edisons think if they didn't actually pull the trigger, they're not guilty.
yeah. Ooh, she used holidays too, Valentine's too. That's right, Wendy did. I just didn't know that money not being transferred was going to cue that up for her. I would love to know Wendy's phone call days to Charlie or WhatsApp. I want to know, how did it get flagged? Federal airline watch list is my guess. The second that ticket was booked, regardless of the process, it rang to Sanford's office. And what's her face? Jackie Fulford brought that up about the no fly. And that the Department of Homeland Security wouldn't really provide them with anything other than they couldn't find anything about a no-fly. Did you hear that, lady?
Yes, I heard that they wouldn't give what's her face any information about a no-fly list.
You know, so that it wasn't like what's her face, Donna was on a no-fly list. They didn't flag that. She used WhatsApp because she thought it was less likely to get flagged. Well, or found that. I mean, she doesn't know. I mean, people hear whatever they hear on social media that this is encrypted. I have a WhatsApp because that's how I got my Facebook back after I got hacked. Hold on, what's it say? Storage and data. Voicemails are automatically downloaded. Does it say anything about encryption? Count privacy. Control your privacy. That's all it says. Disappearing messages. Default message timer. I might have to put that on. 24 hours just in case. Red receipts, not having that. Don't like it. Privacy checkup. So yeah, Meta's gonna give whatever the government wants to it. I don't think they're gonna cover for anybody anymore. Just my guess with Meta. Meta seems to be pro administration right now. Hi, John Smith. How are you? How are you? Thank you. Rosemary says, thank you, AA Legal Focus. They keep bringing up Rashbaum's involvement in their lives. I know. Doesn't sound good. Oh, yeah. You have time. Get to the airport. I wonder if they're going to bring up Honeycutt. Morgan Honeycutt's face is on that screen. I wonder if she's going to be on the witness list. That's Wendy's bulldog friend. Lily says, hi, Mia. Hi, Patty. I took a true crime break after learning about Maddie Soto. So dark. It nearly broke me. I'm sorry, Lily. I mean, that's why I don't do children's trials. I'm trying not to catch a charge. It's really hard for me. AA Legal Focus says, Rosemary, no, because he was giving her advice. He wasn't actually telling her to do anything illegal. There was no warrant at Donna's arrest at the time. And that's what I keep going back and forth on. And I was like, well, she had no warrant. She had no indictment, but it doesn't stop them from getting a warrant, obviously. But does that prove, other than the one-way ticket so far, guilt by flee? I don't know. That'll be up for the jury, I guess. But that's why I'm disclosing right now. I have one-way ticket to Venice till I book the second one. Gotta come home. You don't do children's trials either, Donna? Judge Everett did not give a time frame for his response, but he doesn't usually take that long. He's not sitting there for like a week and a half. But it will be, I think by Monday, maybe we'll have it. That's my guess. Donna was pathetic today, laughable, really. Debbie Gibby cuts to the chase. She cuts right to it. I'm sitting there going, well, you know, is she? I definitely felt she was molested. I definitely felt she believes she has pain. Whether we think it's intense enough, I definitely do not believe she ever used the word mild, because I don't think the word mild ever comes into her vocabulary. So them writing mild when she said, I don't believe she wrote mild. I definitely believe she has the sciatica, because I have it and I know how painful it is. Stops you from walking. And it is kind of like upsetting to hear, and it could be a staffing issue, that they're not getting outside 3 hours in 6 months. That is a problem. But that, like the judge said, is a federal citation that should go to federal court if they're not going outside for 3 hours in 6 months. They can't blame staffing on that. You just can't. And for the correction officers to be like, this isn't a gym. What? I can't do sit-ups on the floor? Like, I don't understand that thinking. But I'm not a correction officer. But I know there's just a lot more inmates there now too. But it could be a staffing problem. But 3 hours in 6 months, you're not seeing daylight? That just leads to a lot more problems for people. You have zero sympathy for her. Any pain she's claiming is not even close to what the Markells have endured. That is absolutely true. And I'm glad the Markells did write a letter to defend their son in regards to her being let out on bond. Seeing her walk today in the leg shackles and chains was hilarious and satisfying. Well, Debbie is not someone you want on your jury. She should not be on a jury. The act of her getting on the phone doesn't trigger a warrant, but her words on that phone call plus getting on the plane with the one-way ticket might trigger the warrant and arrest. Says creative. That's funny. Donna said she couldn't even do wall push-ups. Well, she knew she couldn't do wall push-ups. I think she's talking about the other girls, as she called them. I'm shocked that they don't get them outside, just because Leon County Sheriff's Department is under such scrutiny right now, as they should be, because there are a great number of inmate deaths. Great, huge number of inmate deaths going through that detention center. I think in the last, I'd say 6 months, there's, how many do you think there are? I bet there's 10 in the Leon County Detention Center. Are you still with me, lady?
Yes, I am.
How many do you think there are?
How many deaths?
Yeah, do you remember, on Facebook, have you seen how many there are?
A month.
Inmate death?
Dies at the jail.
Say that again, I couldn't hear you.
Once a month, somebody dies at the jail?
Oh, easily. So one was yesterday, they announced. One was January 18th.
My birthday.
So the girl yesterday was a 26-year-old African-American. I know who she is. The 36-year-old inmate. Now, she was found to have a medical issue, the first one. And then she was taken to the ER. She died at the ER, not at the jail. This one, January 18th, was a 36-year-old unresponsive in the jail, died in the jail. He was there for violation of probation. Says no foul play is expected. They always say that, by the way. Then there was one here. I'm missing some. They're coming out of turn. There's a second one, 2 in last April, 1 in July, 1 in December. Like, there's a lot. So they're definitely under scrutiny. They just approved to have the corrections officers wear body cameras. So that's a good thing. And I think that's great for the correction officers, to be honest. It's a little bit of defense. But there is definitely something going on, whether it's the medical staff, when they're being booked, that they're not doing a proper assessment. It's not an examination because we're not doctors, but an assessment that this person could be under the influence, and you just let them in, or you haven't really done a search on them and you just let them in, or they're unaliving themselves once they're in. And unfortunately, because of Marcy's law, it's MARSY apostrophe S. Marcy's law, we don't get to know. We don't get to know after the fact, because once they die incarcerated, they're innocent. They don't die with a felony. They die. So that's why I say if Donna dies in jail, no charges, my guess is Wendy won't be charged. They need Donna for Wendy, or they want Donna for Wendy. I don't know that they need it, but they want it. But yeah, I think this Leon County, I don't know what's going on at that detention center, but it is not good news for the sheriff at all. And he's elected. So something's definitely needs to stop. I think they need to do better assessments. I know when I was in, and so the nurse, well, like there's a team of nurses at night shift, but I was one that would go do the booking, like you do the height, weight, that kind of stuff, assess. Some person came in and they'd been in a car accident, right? And they still had glass in their body, arms, legs. They were under the influence, but they still had glass. And I was like, they have to go to the ER. And I'll never forget, I remember that corrections officer's name. He's like, no. I was like, no. He's like, you take it out. I'm like, well, Patty doesn't do surgery, because I always talk about myself in the third person when idiots talk to me like that. And I was like, Patty doesn't perform surgery. And he was like, yes, you. I said, I am absolutely not doing it. And I sent them via ambulance out. And they had to go out, and they didn't come back that day or the next day. They had glass everywhere. What that buffoon was thinking, but you can't do it. And then if I admit them, like I say, oh, they're fine, then it's on the nursing staff. Well, that's the stupidest thing. So I don't know if they don't have the balls to say this person needs to go out, this person needs to come in. I don't know. But something's going on that all of these inmate deaths are occurring at this detention center. And I would think a little bit of daylight doesn't hurt anybody. And if you want them to survive to trial, you might want to start walking them. Just doesn't make sense. You think Donna is resentful towards Harvey? Absolutely not. She didn't look one iota resentful. She looked longingly at the love, and she referred to him as her sweetheart. No way is she resentful. Sorry, Rosemary, not on that one. Can't agree. More officers turned up to watch her arrest than family did for her potential bail. We should have any family left, murder. They have better medical care in prison. And that's what Judge Everett said. He goes, there's a big difference between pretrial detention, that's what he called it, and post-trial detention. Because there you can get a sex change, you can get whatever you want, or you could, now you can't. Donna only has to make it 3 months. Isn't her trial set for June? It's June 3rd. June 3rd. She could do jumping jacks on her 2 mattresses. She can while she's in protective custody. But what she's saying in the annex, it's an open building. She also said every correction officer has their own rules. So they allow it. Jail must be even worse for control freaks like Donna. No control, even tiny aspects of her life. So when my son was on with us, and he worked in the prison, he would say that certain correction officers, when it was shower day, that they would let them have like 2 hours apiece, whatever it was. Other correction officers were like, no, 15 minutes apiece. Well, I don't want my inmates to stink. So I have no problem being in there longer. Like 15 minutes isn't enough to wash your ass. It just isn't. So that would be my theory, but I'm not a correction. I found it interesting that Donna testified on the stand that she didn't do it. She's pulling a Charlie, not going to play well with the jury. I couldn't believe she yelled that out. But she did. She yelled it out. Let's see, anyone else have any questions? See what the poll looks like. I wonder what it's going to be. How many people think that the hearing will be suppressed? Okay, 12% say the call will be suppressed. 88% say it's allowed in. Interesting. Hi, tennis girl. How you doing, lady? Princess and the tiniest pea fell in jail mattress. Patty, think Donna is on blood thinners? No, I think a lack of movement thins your blood. And she's not moving. So that's what I think. Age, probably DNA. But a lack of movement, just sitting in one place in a 6x9 cell. You're not allowed out over the weekend, typically. You're only allowed out certain hours, 20 minutes, what, Tuesday and Thursday, and then an hour Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thins your blood, just sitting there. I mean, even when I'm sitting here freezing I shouldn't be cold, but I am. And I'm like, I have to get up and walk around. It's not going to help me. Poor Donna, she's not comfortable and they won't let her do what she wants. No, Jay, man, she is not comfortable. Jail is 5-star compared to prison. Yeah. They just don't have enough staff either, so. I think the sanitary pad was brilliant, is what I thought. That was brilliant. Donna might get her exercise in the shower if Harvey doesn't keep the treat packages going. Well, now she's by herself. And they asked her, oh, sorry, they asked her if she wanted out, like if she would blah, 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 tell the judge in camera, which means in chambers, what that person did, but she's scared to do it, and I can't blame her. I wouldn't do it either. I'd have taken it, and I'd have bought her a soup. If I had to look on the bright side, I would say that person exemplified beyond the shadow of any person doubt what Max and I don't know what that means. So I'll skip. I'm sorry. Donna might get her exercise in the shower. I think that's it. Patty, could you tell if Harvey came to court alone? He interacted with his attorney. That's who he interacted with. And then when we left, he interacted with the defense team. That was all. How close did I sit to Harvey? I wasn't. I was on the other side of the courtroom, far corner, back left, back right. So I was, of anyone in the gallery, I was the furthest away. But I had the best view, I think. But he saw me because I wanted to wait, right? I wanted to see. I told our friend, I said, wait 1 second. And plus the judge had not left the courtroom yet. And then he was like, you can all leave, because he wanted us to leave while they take Donna down, which is not unusual because emotions, and not just this case, other cases. And so I left, and then I stood in the lobby, and it was a few minutes, right, lady, until Harvey and the attorney came out, but he came out with Donna's attorneys.
Yes. He came out less than 3 minutes after we walked out. It was
Yeah, it wasn't long. So Debbie says Donna was stalling. Well, she couldn't stall because she's shackled. So she didn't stall. And they had already been scolded about mouthing conversation to each other. So no. I don't know what Janice looked like. If anyone could send me a photo of Janice, I could tell you whether this woman was Janice or not. But I don't have a picture of her. I didn't realize Harvey showed up to court. He must be expecting Donna to get bail. He could have. I didn't know if they were going to have him speak on, like, if it got closer to it, what kind of location they would be. Now, Jackie Fulford wanted the location, like if she is released on bond, the location sealed because of people like me. That was in the motion. Janice is Filipino. Yeah, but I mean, this woman, no, the woman was Asian that came in. She had like these gray leather pants on, very attractive, super dark, long hair, straight, and she sat so that it was Harvey's attorney. The middle was Harvey. There's only a row for 3. It's very small. And then this female went in on the other side of Harvey. So I figured she had to have known him. Rebecca Coercive says that you look like modern art, lady.
my ceiling, yes.
What was Donna using for a wedding band? I don't know. It looks metal, but it could be one of those silicone rings. I don't know. Because I know her real ring when she got married was gold. So Harvey should be so proud. 2 of his family members are in protective custody. He was really taking a lot of deep breaths. He was really like, and then it was be like this. At one point, when the first time Donna went to go testify, his attorney swapped seats so he could be on the end and see her better. And she didn't have to, but she put her arm around him, kind of consoling him. He really struck. It really was hard. Is this the first time Donna saw her at the airport? Likely in person. In person, I bet.
It definitely wasn't June.
It wasn't June. No. I didn't think it was June. Immediately when I saw her, I thought, is that Janice? I'm going to look. See if I can find her. Janice. What was her last name? Anybody remember? Anybody remember what her last name was? Dr. Janice. That's all it says. She's a very pretty girl, whoever this is. Janice, wasn't she a psychologist or something?
Somebody said Manilang.
Manilang is Janice Manilang. Hold on a second. It could be her. Yep. I bet it was her. I'm going to share this picture and then you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Where's that picture? You know how they give you a tease of a photo on Google and then you click on it, it's not really there. Hold on, let me see if I can save the image. I think it's her because her teeth were awkward. Let me know, Rebecca, what you think. Hold on. I think it's her. Can you see her?
No, I can't see her.
I have an image up.
I think so.
I think it's her. I think it was Janice. Because she came in and she was beautifully dressed. She looked like a Miami attorney, where the other one was like, And then, I mean, I'm sure she's a very nice girl. She was dressed for court, but I was dressed better than her, and that's saying something. And I think it's her.
I think Janice was taking care of Harvey, so it certainly makes sense.
She probably drove him up.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Awkward teeth. Eric's. He goes, any distinctive marks or like her teeth are awkward. They're a little narrow in the top. Yeah, that's what I think. It was her. Judy goes, Janice is kind of weathered looking, but her hair is gorgeous. I don't know if it's a weave or what, but she had some gorgeous ass hair. And it was like black and straight. And she was like, whoosh, whoosh. When she walked, like the hair went with her. I don't know if you noticed it, Rebecca, but I was like, whoosh. She's a pretty girl, man. She was a pretty girl. Is that, yeah, Janice is the one who gets the vibrators. That's right. She looks nothing like this pic. Well, this girl today looked like this pic. Like they had the same teeth and the hair. That's what I'm going off of. Pretty girl. I think she's pretty. See if I can find another one where she's got the long hair, but the teeth are definitely like, and not a lot of people have those teeth. Okay. That's right. Let's see. See here, she's got her own. She's got the dog. She's got the cute little, I don't see the big dog. I see the little dog. Let's see. The Key Center. Is that her? No, that site's broke. Oh, this is 2014. She hasn't been on here in a long time. She must have, I bet she has a different Twitter profile somewhere. But this is, I'm like, somebody closer might say, could dispute it. Maybe Burlew or someone, but here she is on Reddit. I'm 17. This is this girl. Especially this because of her eyebrows. Stop, Eric. Don't judge me. But the eyebrows, you know, that's what I'm going to look at. This girl right here. It was her. I was like, why would she be there? Like some beauty Asian just walks out of nowhere and sits next to Harvey. Had to be Janice.
Hmm.
Did you notice her? When I saw those gray leather pants, I was like, has to be Janice. She must have gotten some cosmetic surgery or else that pic was doctored up. Oh, yeah, it's doctored up. Of course. But she was pretty in person. Like, it wasn't. Now, granted, I'm probably, what do you think that is? So you've got a row of 8 and then a walkway of probably 4 feet. So there's 8, 3, 24, like 24 feet, probably 30 to 40 feet across. But I watched her come in and I watched her leave. I bet anything that was that girl. Yeah, that's the pic where she looks mannish and severe. She looks severe in the image, like in my head. She looks severe. Very straight hair, no wave to it, but beautiful. Nice physique, and then these gray leather pants that kind of like were wide-legged. And Charlie didn't want brains. I just think it was her. Janice was double parked. She wasn't in there that long, which made me also think she was there for Harvey and she wasn't going to sit and watch the whole thing. Mandy, how are you? My hair is looking good. Not today, dude. I got this floppy thing in the back. But thank you for the compliment. I know her personally. So. We've known each other a long time. That's what I would like to say. Charlie's last. Did you smile at Donna? Oh, yeah. I'm not going to look at her like I'm always smiling. However, did Harvey find his way home alone? No, he left with the defense attorneys. And then he went into the elevator. Did you laugh in court? Not. I would, whenever I thought I was going to smile, Rebecca can tell you, I put my head in my hands like this and hid my face, or I went back like that because I didn't want my teeth to show. Because that's the cue for the bailiffs to come over and yell at you. It's like, teeth show. Of course he didn't want brains. He wouldn't want anyone to be smarter than him. He's probably still in the elevator. Did you see them? Because she parked in the garage. Did you see them leave?
No. I saw Mentor Lawyer out there.
See, I didn't even see him in the media room when I walked past. So maybe he left right before or right at. It's only like a 3-person room in that media closet. It's a closet. And calling it a room is generous, to say the least. And there were like 7 black suitcases in there with all this media stuff and all these cords. So I didn't see him. He might have left as soon as the judge dismissed and let his guy, he had his intern finish up. Charlie isn't smart enough. It'll probably get posted online. Tennis. Any idea whenever it will rule? No, he gave no timeline of when he rule. Mm-mm. How old is that courthouse? Rebecca, do you know the answer to that?
Being built 30 or 40, more than 40
Wasn't it built after the whole Ted Bundy thing?
I'm pretty sure it's after that because it's got to be at least 40.
After that. So the current courthouse was built between 89 and 90. And the entrances was designed to complement Old Capitol and Old City Hall. I don't see that anymore. I don't see that it complements anything. It's an ugly old courthouse. But I was told, and I could be wrong, when I was working at the detention center, that the new courthouse was built after Bundy was, unalived by sizzling him, getting sizzled, that because of the escapes that Bundy had made throughout the country. So that was one reason why they did it. And that's one reason why the new jail was built too. Jansen thought Everett's ruling would be quick because of the pending trial in 3 months. Well, I mean, I only think it'll be a couple days. I don't think. I wish Judge Bev was as good as Judge Everett. You have no idea how much time did we lose yesterday on our lives. It was a lot. Really, that is surprising, but Goody was supporting her. Maybe he thinks she will be released. Deb H, yes, he definitely thinks she'll be released. That was definitely Janice. I was surprised, when she walked in, I was like, she just like climbed right over Harvey's legs. I was like, Harvey's back at the airport for Donna Sue, and Janice is wandering the courthouse halls looking for Harvey. I'm sure they drove. What do you think? I bet they drove. Because the timing of the flights from Miami on Silver is just got to be horrible.
We have terrible plane service.
Yeah, I don't think it's. My mom actually said they should give her bail at her age. I said, mother, and a lot of other stuff I wanted to ground her. I mean, they got to keep her alive, though. I mean, that's the thing. The woman has threatened to off herself several times. And they didn't even bring that up. They could have brought that up, too. That she threatened to unalive herself. And they have to protect her for court. As Harvey hooked with Janice instead of June. Poor June. No, June is out. Janice is in. Isn't that funny? Does she have Instagram? Let me see. This girl has Instagram. I wonder where she's living. Janice. I know she's not living in Whale Harbor anymore because it's under contract. Let me see if Whale Harbor is sold yet. $25.18. No, it's still accepting backups. So the house on Whale Harbor that was Charlie's accepting backups. Does it say when it's going to close? Must mean it has a long contract or they have to sell a house to buy. That's what accepting backups often means. So that money has not come in yet to pay the attorneys because that's what it's probably going to go to. I think Harvey and Donna will unalive. I think they would too. I'm surprised Sarah didn't bring it up. You hope Juna's moved on. Oh, me too. I think it's horrible to just like pine for a murderer. I really do. Janice was some sort of folk. I don't know if that's the case, but I do know that I don't see an Instagram for her, but that doesn't mean anything. Instagram's hard. Like people use weird names and stuff, so it's not really like real life. In case anyone knows, man, but she can't be living at Whale Harbor anymore. Stop it. This thing says she's 46. Is she that old? I wonder if she is that old. Janice. Janice Castro Manline. Bless her heart. Well, back rubs count. I hope only the best for June too. She's the one I feel the most sorry for of any of the players. Had Charlie did the dirty deed himself instead of hiring Annette, do you think it would have been harder to crack the case? No, because he's an idiot. Anyone with an ego as big as Charlie Adelson's would have been easy to crack. Question. Why didn't Sarah Dugan didn't bring up the unaliving? I don't know. I have no idea. Can't say. And they say there's an asshole for every seat. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought of the unaliving. I don't know why she didn't bring it up. Maybe it's harder to prove. Maybe she doesn't think she had to prove it. But the verbiage was there that I mean, in one of those calls, was it the 7th or the 8th, Donna said, we'll just take pills and go to sleep or something to that effect. So, Charlie has Janice and Bree hanging on. Well, apparently Janice is now a friend of the family. And so is Bree, even if she's been arrested, which we don't know because she doesn't show up for court. Although Jackie Fulford made a good point about that. She made a very good point. People on violation of probation get bail. People who've done other bad things get bail. People who jump bail get bail. That's Leon County, tough on crime. So she made a very good point on that. You would have thought that Charlie was JFK Jr. with all those women making fools of themselves around him. I do believe Donna gets bond. She and Harvey will flee. I don't think they'll flee for the afterlife. Yeah, I think so too. She's done. I'll tell you, when that Sarah was like repeating everything in summary on the bond and the Arthur hearing, her face was dead flat. There wasn't like, you know how she did, you can bring up the old photos where she's like bug-eyed at the idea that she did something wrong. Yeah, she's gone. Janice has aged out for Charlie. I can't believe she's that old, but I guess it makes sense. How old is Junam Chinda? I mean, she's got to be up there too now, right? Does anyone know how old she was at the time of the murder? I don't know, but she has to be up there as well. But thank you all for joining, and thank you to Rebecca for joining me. It was really nice of you. Very nice that you did this. He didn't know June at the time. No, but he knew June at the time of his arrest. So that's why I was wondering, like, how old was she? I have no sympathy for June. Rosemary, she's a tough nut. She was protecting Charlie on the stand, tried to blame law enforcement. I know, but she really pined for him. I just think of her at my age, if that was my daughter. Like, God, can you get over this guy? Thank you, Mr. C. Thank you, Neely, for your thank yous. I appreciate it again. Kim, for your super chat. And thank you, Rebecca, for joining me. March 25th, 2025, there is a new case management hearing. So I will be in attendance, and if anything changes, I will try to be there. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to go back and rewatch the hearing and giggle out loud because you're not allowed to giggle in the courtroom. Thank you guys. As the best subscribers, I really appreciate you all. Take care, everyone. Thanks again, Rebecca. Bye-bye.
Bye.